Hello, my beautiful angels. So good to see you. I am really excited to talk about today's topic. We're going to discuss the divine feminine, how to tap into your femininity. So I've been talking on this channel since about 2019 about the divine feminine and femininity and things like that. And you will hear all types of content and videos out there nowadays about it. And some of it I don't really agree with, that's fine. And a lot of it, I really love it. I just love how people have, been finding their femininity, especially women have been finding their femininity and seeing it as something beautiful and not something weak or lesser than. So I want to talk about healing in it because I see there's a lot of just talk about how to dress and how to look and more feminine, which, like I said before, that's an aspect of it. But I think the beauty of the divine feminine, which is the feminine energy that is present in nature, in our relationship with the divine, the spiritual aspect of femininity is very, very healing. And so a lot of people ask me, what is the divine feminine? And those of you who have actually taken my Goddess Reset program, which I made that, I think, back in 2019, I believe. And, link is always down below with a coupon code for you guys to get, started on your own healing journey. It is a self-study course, but the main thing that is important about the divine feminine, I like to call it the goddess energy, right? It's the energy of the feminine, seeing it as a powerful force of creation. I see the divine feminine as the healing force, right? I always say the divine feminine will heal us all and will heal so many aspects, because in the world that we've lived in thus far has been in a very wounded masculine. And so we often attribute that to the masculine, but no, that's not divine masculine. That's not divine feminine. It's actually wounded. There's wounded feminine and wounded masculine. There's divine feminine, divine masculine. There's natural feminine, natural masculine, which in the Goddess Reset course, I go through all of that as well. So I like to refer to the divine feminine or the goddess energy as an archetype. People think that it's literal. Oh, it's about a goddess, or it's about, this and that. And for me, it's not. It's literally just the energy. Just like the hero is an archetype in a story, right? I like to look at our life as like a story with different chapters in it. In the divine feminine, that goddess energy comes in whenever you're ready to heal and go within. So the goddess energy, the divine feminine, is very much like the womb energy, right? It's like if we look out in nature, we're going to see a divine masculine and divine feminine, right? The provider, the multiplier, the fruit, the tree, the leaves, the honeybee, and the flower, right? So we see that dynamic play off. For myself and my faith, I see God, the divine masculine, the divine feminine is Mother Earth. So that is how I see it, right? It's a beautiful relationship that balances and plays off of each other, and neither is more powerful, more important than the other. They're equally as important, they're equally as beautiful, and whenever a person leans into their divine feminine, or leans or heals in their divine feminine or masculine, they're coming into their most beautiful, authentic version, right? So it's so much more than just how you dress or how you look or dating or attracting the right person, right? It's literally you in your most healed form in relationship to the world around you, in relationship to yourself, to your past, to what you've been through. So the divine feminine is the archetype of the goddess energy, which is a woman in her most powerful, beautiful form, is a woman in her goddess energy. So, people often think, oh, you think you're some kind of goddess and this, and no. It's not about worshiping myself as some kind of deity. No, it's about knowing my beautiful inherent worth as a woman. So I came across a book, I believe it was 2018, 2019, around this time, right? I had so many things that came to me around this time when I started to heal. I was very much in my wounded masculine and wounded feminine, and I didn't realize it until I started to see, wait, my femininity is beautiful, and it's not something I should suppress or something I should feel bad about. And actually, I should slow down, go within, and heal inwardly. So I am looking up at my picture because I have a beautiful picture of the Virgin Mary. It's a very famous piece of art. It's a print. It's basically when Mary was told that she was pregnant, the angels came to her and told her that she was pregnant. And that to me is like beautiful, right? To me, especially as I came into motherhood and I became pregnant in 2021, it was like everything kind of came to a head, and it came to that, right? So through my healing journey led me to motherhood. So I see, the divine feminine as like the Virgin Mary, or, Mary Magdalene, who was very much seen as an imperfect woman. But if you actually read into her life and the things that she did, I mean, wow, she was so, so beautiful. And Jesus Christ actually held her as, just as important as his male apostles. And over time, she was kind of taken out of Bible and different texts, and her role was minimized, to suppress the divine feminine. But the divine feminine is something that can't be suppressed. Eventually it comes out in different forms. So a lot of people will view femininity in a very modern sense, but I love to look back at women of the past, like Joan of Arc, very much in her divine feminine. She was, very connected to God, and she would listen, and she was very spiritual. And that is something that I loved, to read and about the past, about women of the past, but especially since I identify as Catholic and, I follow Christ. I love just to listen to that, especially as I was coming back to my faith. But that's a whole other topic for another video. But the divine feminine is teaching women that our softness and our compassion, our cooperation, our nurture is so powerful, especially because we are creators, right? We were chosen to be the vessels, especially if you just look at childbearing, right? Childbearing is such a spiritual event. It's so beautiful, and I feel like we make childbearing and pregnancy such a mechanical thing that we forget to see the divinity in it, the spirituality in it. And so I go back to childbearing. Obviously, not everyone's interested in being a parent nowadays, but I talk about childbearing because childbearing is very much inward, right? It's that womb, the dark energy. And when I say dark, I don't mean evil. I mean literally inside, inward, darkness, right? Think of the moon, right? The moon is very feminine. A lot of women, our menstrual cycles are attuned to the moon. So at nighttime, we usually view those things as bad or negative, but it's actually our essence, right? Femininity is essence. So that's why we heal in our divine feminine, because you can heal in your divine masculine, obviously, but for purposes of this video, I'm talking about healing in the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is the inward energy, whereas the divine masculine is more outward, building, future, right? We often, if we look at in the natural world, we look at masculine as, business, finance, versus, the natural feminine might be more relationships, right? Home, inward. You see how those look, right? The patterns, how we see inward, outward, expressive, going within, all those types of things. So both are important. We need both. We need both of those energies to thrive. So healing in your divine feminine is you deciding to go within, right? And I would say, a lot of people, especially as the worldwide event, I don't know if I can't talk about it, but the worldwide event we went through 2020, a lot of people were awakened during this time. A lot of people were awakened through, to injustice in the world, to, all these other, what people would call conspiracy theories, whatever it is. People were awakened to a lot of things that obviously before, when they were out living in the wounded masculine world, they didn't have the time to actually go within and actually focus on these things. And not only were they awakened to things going out in the world, they were awakened to things going on within. So the divine feminine, it kind of, when it calls to you, not even calls to you, but when you feel called to be more in your femininity, to slow down, you're going to want to go into kind of like a hermit mode, right? Into time of like, I'm focusing on me, I'm focusing on my home, I'm focusing on feeling good from the inside. I'm no longer going to be in a wounded masculine or wounded feminine state where I want to look good for the world, or I want to compete with the world, or I want to, be outwards, but actually I want to go within and see what's going on, right? In order to start this process of healing, number one is awareness, because you can't heal what you don't reveal. Facing those things that you wish to heal, facing those aspects, those triggers, those fears that you have been avoiding for some time, or you've been distracted by, right? Sometimes we're distracted from our wounds and our things because we're in relationships with people who don't let us heal, or we're, in friend groups, or we're around the wrong people, right? So the divine feminine is going to say, okay, let's get specific. What's going on? So for me, my healing journey kind of started late 2018 when I got out of that toxic relationship, and I decided, okay, I'm going to focus in on me. What are these things that I'm carrying on me? What are these things that I wish to release? What are these things that are not serving me? I was also going through I actually went through a pretty tough burnout, right? And a lot of people didn't notice. And I actually stopped making content for a long time. So that burnout was very much so me looking at my life as something's not working. Something's not working here, right? I am tired of the hustle culture that I subscribe to. I'm tired of, feeling like I'm not good enough because my success doesn't look like a certain way, or I'm tired of feeling like I'm in competition with other people. I shouldn't be competing with other people. I'm my own person. So I faced all these things, and that's what allowed me to begin healing these things, because it's like you shed light on something and it gets better, right? If it hides in the dark, it can do whatever, but it's like a wound. You want to make sure that you cut out the bad stuff so that you can actually begin to heal. So that's what I did, and that's what I want you to focus on. Cut out those things that aren't working in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's people, whether it's bad habits. Cutting out those things that are either numbing your pain or making you forget about certain things or making you avoid certain things. Make sure that you are holding your boundaries. This is why I say boundaries are so feminine, because boundaries are not, they're not like outward. They're not like leave me alone. They're not wounded. Boundaries are beautiful and sacred because it's you literally saying, this is the line I draw, right? What I'm worthy of, and I show if you can't respect this boundary, you can't enter my life, right? It's such a beautiful way of being. So holding those boundaries with yourself too. And what that looks like is you saying, this is what I'm going to do for myself. I'm not going to allow this type of behavior for myself. I'm going to, allot this time of day for my healing, for going within, for resting. And so that's something that we have to be more open to, is taking more responsibility over our life and taking responsibility. That is a very queen-like behavior, is taking responsibility over our healing and what we want out of our life, and being able to say no, and say no to temptations that are bringing us in the wrong direction. So my goodness, boundaries are so important, which leads me on to my next thing, is making sure that you're giving yourself time, even if you have a very busy schedule and you have a very demanding job that's in its masculine and you want to heal into your feminine. Give yourself time in your day, every single day, that is going to add up over time, that will bring you into your divine feminine, right? Into that beautiful feminine energy. So one thing for me is that, as a mom, I have a very full 24 hours of the day, right? So I have really perfected the art of using my nights when my daughter is asleep to make that my relaxation time, right? I'm with my fiance, we're together at night, and then I have my soak in the bathtub me time alone, because I need my alone, my recharge time, right? So I have really done that. I'll read a book, or maybe I'll watch a video or whatnot, but I'll soak in Epsom salt and I'll relax my body, because my body will usually tense up, and I've noticed that I have usual pressure points or places where I hold on to stress, and I will focus on relaxing, or I'll do visualization or meditation or something just to calm me down into the present moment. And that energy helps so much, especially as somebody, I've dealt with burnout. I was heavily in like the girl boss mode, when I was in college and when I left college, and, kind of after that, in that time period. And that really burnt me out, because I was not being my authentic self, right? I wasn't showing up as my authentic self. And so, authenticity is another place where we go when we're healing in the divine feminine. We are more open to being our most authentic self. And for everyone, that looks differently. I think what's beautiful about femininity, a lot of times it is kind of trendy right now to talk about femininity and, the kind of like the natural aspects of it, like staying home, being more nurturing, whatever, that cute like aesthetic version of it that people like to emulate now. That's beautiful too. I think it's awesome how it's showing up, but don't feel like you have to just fall into femininity because it's trending or a lot of women are doing it. I have a good friend, her name is Jasmine. I've actually had her on this channel before. Jasmine, if you're watching, hello. But we were actually having a conversation the other day, And we're talking about how, she went through her own healing journey. She had a baby around the same time I did. And that healing journey brought her to realizing she loved being more in her divine masculine. She loved being in her masculine. She loved business. She loved, working in her own projects. She loved working towards the future, finance. And she, does a lot of beautiful content as well on her TikTok. I'll link her down below. And I love that because as she was more into her feminine, in her postpartum period, she realized, wait, I actually am thriving and I feel more authentic and I feel more beautiful and powerful as myself in my more masculine energy, which beautiful, amazing. I think that a lot of times when I say heal into divine feminine, people think that I'm telling them to be, some kind of trad wife or something. And no, it's just about you coming back to who you truly are, which is healing. So, we do healing in the divine feminine, and also we do confidence work in the divine masculine. So that's how we have to see these energies, kind of how they balance off of each other. And that's how you notice, wait, where do I feel most aligned? Because a lot of us, we can aim for balance. Like I'll get into my masculine when I have to get into business related things. But most of the time I feel like I'm in my feminine, right? But it's beautiful to balance off of them and also to skew one way. But what we don't want is that you fall back into the wounded masculine or the wounded feminine, right? We want you to be in this beautiful, harmonious place where you feel most powerful and most authentically you. But for the sake of this video, authenticity means also being true to not only who you are, but being true to the type of life that you want, right? And sometimes we are afraid when we're in our wounded masculine or wounded feminine, we usually are afraid to voice what we want in our lives because we're afraid that people are going to laugh at us or talk down to us. But we have to be true to what we want in our life because that is us deciding, wait, I'm going to take the power back from here, right? I'm going to decide in which direction I'm going to go into. And when you're healing doesn't mean that you stay stagnant and you stay home forever, right? Healing means that I'm going to bring awareness. I'm going to create space for it. Anytime that wound is triggered, I'm going to address it instead of burying it. And I'm going to be at peace with it and send love to it, right? But at the same time, I can start planting seeds towards where I want to be in the future. So be true about who you are and what you want out of life. I've talked about this before in other videos, but for a long time, I would deny myself wanting a family and children. I would say, no, that's, beneath me. And I used to look down upon it. And now I see it as the most beautiful thing that could have happened to me and the most empowering thing, becoming a mother. And I think a lot of it, society tries to tell us being a mother is not anything to aspire to. A lot of people are anti-natalist and don't like children. It's very prevalent in our society, but the divine feminine led me into one of my purposes, which is to be a mother. And I love it and I enjoy it. And I won't be quiet about that because that is something that is so important to who I am as a human being that I won't say no to it. And it was a privilege to become a mother and I'm going to honor it. So don't be afraid of speaking out what it is that you want out of life, whether that's in relationships, whether that's in your career, whether that's in your lifestyle, whether that's where you want to live, if you want to move to another country. That's something that you want and it resonates with you and who you truly are, go for it. Don't hide from it, right? So plant those seeds to go into the direction that you wish to go. But the most important thing about healing in your divine feminine is just slowing down, right? I think that was one of the good things, one of the only good things that came out of the last 2-3 years that we all went through collectively, was that a lot of people slowed down and had to figure out new ways and to do things, and a lot of things came to the surface about ourselves and about the world. But the slowing down is so beautiful and so healing, especially if you feel like you're in this super go pace. A lot of people tell me it seems like life is just going super fast lately. So I want to challenge you just to slow things down, slowing down your movements, slowing down your daily commute, enjoying the present moment, romanticizing those things. I can't speak enough about that. People might laugh, people may scoff at you, whatever, but whatever feels good and healing, it's like, oh, this is nice, right? This is nice. It's kind of like when you're on vacation and you lay out on the beach, right? It's like, this is really nice. This is beautiful, right? Like no care in the world. That vacation mode, you can bring that vacation mode anywhere you are, anytime it is. So honor your femininity. Your femininity is nurturing, it is powerful, it is soft, it is passive, it is like water, it is like a river. And that's how I always like to see it, is like water is the softest, most beautiful, hydrating element that we have, but it's also very powerful. I mean, it has the power to flood, it has the power to bring down ships, it has the power to do so much. And that's how we should view our femininity, is that the more we work in our femininity, the more powerful we become, and powerful in ways that we didn't even imagine, right? Like our presence can just change the room that we walk into, because it's very quiet, it's very unassuming, right? It's very visual, but it's very much energetic. So people will feel your energy. So, intentions are beautiful. So whether you set the intention that this is going to be your season of healing, or this is going to be your season of creation is also very feminine, or you set the season, you say, okay, this next season is going to be my season of this. Watch how everything begins to change around you. Watch how, the people who show up in your life change, or watch how opportunities come to you, how abundance comes to you. All these different things come to you when you realize, wait, I have everything I need within me right now. I have all of it. And what I just need to do is allow myself to express it and to live in it and to be in it. So that is how you begin healing in the Divine Feminine. It's very beautiful. You don't have to do a ton of things. I feel like in the world of self-help, they tell us so many things that we need to do or that we shouldn't do. But I think that the Divine Feminine teaches us the opposite, teaches us that everything we need to know and learn is already within us. We just need to get rid of everything that is not us. So I hope you enjoyed this video, my angels. I hope it resonated with you. If you did, I'd love to hear from you down below. Of course, always leave me your comments. I love to read through them, even though I don't have time to answer all of them. I love to read and hear what you have to say. So many beautiful, amazing people in this community, and I'm grateful to have all of you here, and sending you all my love. No matter where you are in your healing journey, know the Divine Feminine is always here to support you, and we can really have a beautiful world if we have more people slowing down and listening to their Divine Feminine, whether that's being in nature more, or slowing down, changing careers, or whatever it is, right? However it may look for you, honor it and know that that's only going to help your relationships. It's only going to help you in the long run if you heal in your Divine Feminine. So if you guys want more content about this, please let me know down below any specific questions you have. I would love to go more in depth into this topic. But as always, if you want to go in depth with healing, please join my Goddess Reset program. I'm going to be having, actually very soon, I've been holding off on this, but I'm going to have a new place for everyone to convene as a group. I used to have it on Facebook, but I had to get rid of that. So it's no longer on Facebook. We're going to have a new platform and going to have new live group coaching sessions as well. So I can't wait to have you there. Check the link below and you'll have a coupon code in the description box, and I will see you there. But as always, my angels, always remember this: no matter who you may be in this life, no matter what you may be going through or what you look like, always remember your true beauty, your true worth, and your true power always come from within. I love you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.